Hello, it's me James and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be discussing the new villager changes. The ones that have already been implemented in the game and the ones that may be getting added in the future. Now, this has been a hot topic around the community. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today is a few of your own opinions on the update. I'm going to be sharing my opinion and I'm also going to be sharing some creators' opinions on the matter. First of all, what we should probably do is discuss the villager updates and what's getting added and what has been added already to the game. Now, for anybody who watches my channel, you would know that I am a big fan of sharing OP stuff. And I think it was fair to say that the villager 1 emerald trade farm that surrounds a zombie spawner was probably one of the most OP farms to ever exist in Minecraft. And if not a little too OP, I will admit that, to be fair. As you can see, this was my specific farm. I had built my villager trading station around a zombie spawner. Now, the reason I built my farm around a zombie spawner is because you would receive the exact same discounts as you would as curing a zombie villager over and over again. In turn, you would get 1 emerald trades from all of the stuff surrounding this zombie spawner. And of course, if you're using the normal curing method, you would have got 1 emerald trades from, repeat curing that in the center of all your villagers. However, now we've had a slight change to the curing system. A new change that has been implemented in the game is we can no longer do more than 1 discount on a villager trading station. So, for example, if you had your villager trading station and in the center of that trading station you had some kind of curing system, you could only ever do that once now and receive 1 discount on all of your villagers. And that's the exact same for me. If I now have zombie villagers spawn out of my center spawner, I can only ever get 1 discount on all of my villagers. So that is the first major change that we've had implemented in the game at the moment. We can no longer do multiple curing to get multiple discounts, giving us 1 emerald trades. Now, very quickly, being as we are in the villager trading station, I want to bring up a change that not very many people are talking about. In fact, this change was a complete surprise to the community. Now, I did mention that we can no longer get 1 emerald trades via curing or, of course, zombie spawners in the center of our farm. However, what we wasn't aware of is that they was going to reset every villager that we'd already took down to 1 emerald trades. So, in this farm, before I went on holiday, every single one of these villagers were 1 emerald trade, and when I got back, every single one of them had been reset, which means in a way Mojang has kind of, wasted my time and ruined my work, because I did have to AFK to get those discounts. And yeah, now as you can see, if I just go to mending, for example, now we still can get that very, very cheap, and it has actually had some discount on it. You can see it's gone down all the way down to 9, but this was a 1 emerald trade book before. And if I just show you loyalty, yep, you can see here we've had a little bit of a discount, but nowhere near a 1 emerald trade discount. As I said before, all of these villagers were on 1 emerald trade. Any product I wanted to buy from this farm was 1 emerald trade. And since I come back and updated the game, yeah, they completely reset. Now, I'm not surprised that that actually happened. In fact, I was kind of expecting it to happen, although there was no mention of that whatsoever. They didn't say they was going to reset previous villagers, which I kind of think maybe they should have mentioned to prevent people wasting their time. Another change that is coming to the game is to do with cartographer villagers. These guys have only ever been able to sell Ocean Explorer maps and Woodland Explorer maps as well, and now they are going to have a number of different maps that they can actually sell to us. I'm going to put a few or all of them on the screen right now so you can see which maps that we can actually get from these. I think they're going to do stuff like jungle temples and villages as well. So I mean, I think that's pretty good, a pretty positive change for these guys. Another change regarding villagers is their actual trades. Now, some of the products that we can buy at the moment from books are no longer going to be available in the new trade. So right now I can go over here and go to my mending villager, for example, and buy some mending books, and yeah, pretty cheap at that. However, soon enough, you will no longer be able to get mending from a villager. In fact, there are a number of different things that are being removed from villager trades. I'm going to put like a new grid of all of the new trades up right now, so you can have a little quick look. But there is a massive change coming to what the villagers actually trade as well. And finally, I'm pretty sure I've spoken about everything to do with villagers. I may have missed a few things. However, I think I've got the main things covered. But this last change is probably the most spoken about change that is happening in the game. Now, villager trading is most definitely changing a lot in the future. But this change right here is a huge change. Basically, to get certain trades from certain different villagers, you are now going to be required to go to different biomes to find those villagers. That is correct. You are going to have to look in certain biomes to find a certain villager with that trade linking up to that biome. And in turn, yeah, you will get the stuff that you're looking for. Although that does mean a hell of a lot more traveling. Now, this change is actually in the game at the minute, but it is in an experimental period. And that is exactly why I'm making this video today, to literally find out what everybody thinks. Again, if you have opinion on these new changes, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Make sure you share this video with your friends, spreading the new changes around. And yeah, let's get into the opinions on the changes. First thing first, let's take a look at some of your opinions. Now, I added everybody over on my Discord. And before we do look at the opinions, I do want to say there was a mixed messages coming from everybody. I mean, yeah, some people liked them, some people didn't. But what I would say is 90% of the people that commented back and replied back to my literally did not like the changes. In fact, I would say 90% of the people who I have spoke to do not like the changes, and not all of the changes, only a certain few changes. Now let's dig a little bit deeper to see which parts they don't like. I've got a bunch of replies right here, and I'm gonna read them out and pop them up on the screen as well. First of all, a user called Sal replied to me and says ruins, super flat, and skyblock. And honestly, I can 100% agree with this reply. People who use the villager trading system on super flat worlds and skyblock, they are really vital for those game modes. Especially considering the fact that flat worlds, you can only actually have one biome. So with the villager biome changes, I mean, it completely destroys what villagers you can get. Unless, of course, you've already got those villagers in place before the update takes place. A user called Craft says L update, which I think means like a lot update, or yeah, I think I'm old, leave me alone. A user called Apolly, oh, I'm really bad at names, says tell Mojang to stop this. I mean, I don't think he likes the updates. So, one of my moderators on the Discord actually replied to Sal, which was the first comment we read out. And, of course, Sal said it ruins super flat worlds and skyblock. And Hefferlump's response to that, which is my moderator, says, well, it doesn't ruin it. It just makes it significantly worse because fishing is required to a very large degree. Again, I could probably agree with that as well. Freddy Rizbear, that's kind of a funny name, says someone is probably going to make a mod that brings back villager trade is what I think. I mean, I probably think someone is going to do that, to be fair. Griffin K says, how I feel about the villager update. / kill at Mojang. Oh, damn, he is really not happy. Frog of the East says, I still have a lot of respect for Mojang as developers. I think the problem is with Microsoft, but the villager trade changes, those suck. Bazzy replied to me saying, honestly, not interested in it, really dumb update. Snakeskin replied to me saying, I don't think I would like it. Yeah, it adds more changes and might be kind of fun though, but for existing worlds, I don't really know. GGSX said to me, I mean, I'd imagine it needs to be a thing in order to balance out the game and ensure people don't rush it too much and provide a much more satisfying reward, but obviously annoying if you're trying to progress quickly. So I think I'm fine with it despite being a pain. Hunter C had this to say about the changes. If we're talking about the change that is already in effect, I feel that the curing nerf is actually not that bad of a change, because although I had to go through the effort of multiple cures, being able to get one being able to get any book, for a single emerald was a bit overpowered. Not to mention that it devalued the Hero of the Village effect, which was buffed a while ago, to be able to use anywhere with any villager. And if you have a trading hall in the first place, you'll most likely have a raid farm that gives you the effect and a side product of loads of emeralds. If we're talking about the experimental villager changes that are biome locked and nerfed, it's a terrible change, flat out, because the way biomes generate, as well as transportation of villagers being super terrible. Not to mention the fact that the book levels are nerfed for no reason, as well as the overall trade tree becoming worse. And then shortly after, Hunter C also said this: I would like to retract my statement about the curing change not being that bad. The fact that players lost the time they spent on those villagers is actually quite agitating. Lightning Foxy had this to say about the changes. I feel like the update is alright for the most part. Adding village maps was definitely a good idea. Villagers were really OP. Sorry for the long message in brackets. However, they can't just not do anything about Skyblock, Super Flat, or any other game modes that are in a single biome. Some changes I would like to see are: if there was a 75% chance that the villager you breed is from a specific biome you're in, and a 25% chance that it could be a random variant. Alternatively, make it so all types of zombie villager spawn in every biome, so you still need to cure them, but you can still get all types in a single biome. Finally, make villagers easier to transport. Luring them with emeralds is too easy and boring in my opinion. So each villager would have their own unique lore item. Example, the librarian lead by a book, enchanted book. I feel like if these were added, it would make the update for me. Snakeskin also had this follow-up opinion. He said, but my opinion about the change, I'm in the middle. For my world, I would have to travel tens of thousands of blocks to get a certain biomes, like a desert or some others. So if I ever needed certain trade again, that would cost me greatly. But for newer worlds, I think it could be very fun grind to get up enough to get the enchantments needed. Frenzy had this to say about the changes. Gonna be honest, I'm kind of liking the new villager system, with the exception of a few things such as no effective way transporting them, clear ways to get other treasure books such as the ones on tridents, and that is all I can think of right now. So I've read out some of your opinions, and I think it's fair to say that they are basically all of the same. Now, I didn't just handpick certain opinions. That is pretty much all of the opinions that got voiced over on the Discord yesterday. Everybody's opinion was basically the same, apart from a few little different things. The biome traveling thing is really not a favorite idea by many people. But now we've looked at some of the community's opinions in the JamFam Discord server, let's go ahead and look at some of the creators' opinions. First of all, we are going to be looking at Old Guy's response to the villager changes. Now, if you don't know who Old Guy is, he is probably one of the kings of villagers themselves. He makes the best iron farms and does a lot of work with villagers. So I thought this guy would be the perfect person to ask about the villager changes. And I said to him, "Oh guy, I'm going to do a video about the village changes. I was wondering your opinion regarding them." And he simply put, "I'm not a fan." I put, "What part of the changes are you not a fan of?" And then he goes on to say this: "The current stuff I don't really have an issue with. Currently, they've just been price adjustments. The biggest issue I have is that they just took people's current builds and threw them in the dumpster. So if you've worked really hard making a trading hall, they essentially said they don't care. I think they just should have allowed people to keep their existing trades and discounts and only applied these changes going forward. It's the future changes I'm most concerned with. They're having to get villagers from specific biomes and having diamonds to buy diamond gear. If they want me to explore, they should put something there to make exploration worth it. And fix the issue associating with large world at file size. If that means a tool to trim worlds or whatever. Oh, and I also forgot about cartographers. I don't know if their maps are an issue, but player-created maps contribute a ton of data to world size. When you make a map, it actually makes 4 of them on each size. So if cartographers do the same thing, unconfirmed, that's going to be an issue. My main issue with the villager changes is that it hurts Bedrock players because of all the issues associating with world file size. You have to take villagers and transport them to a jungle and a swamp in order to get certain books. Some swamps are thousands of blocks. It's very disrespectful just throwing people's current builds in the trash. That is what they've always said, that the reason was for never messing with Java Redstone was they didn't break people's builds. Then on top of that, they haven't considered the effects that it will have on people's worlds on Bedrock. And that right there was Old Guy's opinion. I think he's made some very, very valid points on the new villager changes. However, let's jump on to Prow's opinion. Now, I did message Prow with the exact same thing, and he basically sent me this video. He's already covered this in a video. So what we're going to do is take a look at some clips out of that video, and yeah, take a look at Prow's opinion. Now, the video we're going to be watching is this one. We're not going to watch the entirety of the video. If you want to go and do that, feel free to jump on over to Prow's channel and click on this video right here. But right now, I'm going to show you some clips out of this video, which I think is kind of important.
Hello, everybody. Prow here. And today, I want to talk about some of these really big mistakes that I think Mojang is making when it comes to villager nerfs. And they're making some pretty huge nerfs to villagers. And actually, believe it or not, I kind of agree with these nerfs, but not on their own. And I'm going to explain that during this video. I do think that as is, this is going to cause players to leave the game. I'm already actually seeing evidence of that, just like anecdotally from people within my community that are very unhappy about this change, and people have been playing less because of it, just because of the fact that this thing is possibly going to happen soon. And really all of this ties into just let people play the way they want to play. Okay, if you're going this route of making people explore 10,000 blocks and like going through a ton of headache to not only explore those blocks, travel that distance, but then set up villagers in each one of those areas, you're forcing people, in order to get enchantments for their gear, to do all of that and play that style of Minecraft. But not everybody wants to play Minecraft that way. Minecraft is a sandbox game that's supposed to be about player agency and player choice. You have all of these different player types: the redstoner, the adventurer, the relaxed player, that I want to set up everything and for it to all be in my base, and for the big explorer player. You have all of these different slices of player, but the only real viable option that you're giving is for people to explore 10,000 blocks away. And you're not fixing all of the other methods that nobody uses right now because they all suck. So finally, if Mojang doesn't make these changes, then I would say that this villager change is honestly pretty garbage. Like it's really bad. They're forcing players to play a way they don't want to play. They are making reuse of these villagers very difficult. They're forcing people to move villagers around, which sucks in the game as well. It is not easy to move villagers a short distance, much less 10,000 blocks away, if that's what you have to do to get two of them to a swamp to breed them, or to bring them all back to your base because you want everything at your base. That's terrible. And you can't even get top level enchants from these villagers anyways. Like you can at best get what, Unbreaking 2 and Efficiency 3 or something like that. Like that's terrible. You're making me go 10,000 blocks and make villagers that won't even at max level give me the best enchantments anyways. That is awful. And ultimately, this is going to lead to players leaving the game.
There is a couple of clips out of Prow's video on this topic. I think he actually makes some very, very good points. Again, I highly suggest that you go and watch that video. I'm going to put that in the description below alongside Prow's channel as well. So literally, you can just go down there, click subscribe if you're not already subscribed to him, and of course watch that video in its entirety. Again, Prow made some very, very good points. I really do think, yeah, Mojang, they should be trying to allow the player to play exactly how they want. That is exactly what Minecraft's about. However, I don't want to get into my opinion just yet. We're going to speak about my opinion a little bit more in the end of the video. We've got one more creator that I managed to get in contact with over on the Twitter or the X or whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to read our conversation right now. And as I said, yeah, I messaged Toycat over on the Twitter, And basically I said, hello Toy Cat, sorry to bother you. I'm working on a video on the new villager changes. I was wondering if I could get your opinion on the changes, like if you like them or not and why. So he didn't exactly go into whether he likes them or not, but he did say this: it's fixing the symptom, not the cause, in my opinion. Way too easy to obtain infinite number of mending books for basically no effort, but people feel they need mending, so there needs to be easy ways to obtain it or reasons to not have it. And that's simply all that he said, although it is quite valuable information, I would say. Again, I would probably agree with what he's saying. I think if they're going to take away mending out of kind of like the villagers and people still want it, they do need to have easier ways to obtain it, or of course give reasons not to have it. And that, my friends, are the 3 creator opinions. Again, I want to say a massive shout out to all 3 of those creators. Again, you're most likely subscribed to all of them. If you're not, feel free to go down to the description below and you will find all of those channels below. Oh guys, Prowls, and of course IBX Toy Cats. Now remember, just on Prow's video again, make sure you watch that video. He does come up with some really good solutions, which of course I didn't mention in this video. I just wanted to get an overall opinion on what he thought about the changes. But yeah, make sure you watch his video, make sure you subscribe to all 3 of those creators. And yeah, now we're on the final part of the video where I'm going to talk about my opinion towards the changes. Now, first and foremost, do I like the changes? Yes or no? I do and I don't. I think, in fact, I've been waiting for a villager nerf for the longest time. I actually knew that this was going to come to the game. I'm not like a mind reader or anything, but if you look at something that's so OP, eventually that thing is going to get patched. That is just the way it's been in Minecraft forever. The villager trades were very, very OP. You could literally get anything you ever wanted for 1 emerald trade, especially if you had a system set up like mine. I used to literally showcase that all of the time. I used to push that to everybody, say make this, make this, make this, and yeah, you would save yourself a bunch of time. So regarding the nerfs towards the 1 emerald trades, I actually think that's a good thing, alright? I don't think it's a bad thing. Yes, we are going to lose out in 1 emerald trades, although like I said, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think people should have access to all of this OP stuff. That being said, I'm never ever going to stop showing the OP stuff. I will always show the OP stuff as long as it's in the game, but for the most part, I'm always waiting for that OP stuff to be removed. So do I agree with the nerfs on the villager discounts? Yeah, I totally do. I think that is probably a really good change. Do I agree with the cartographer changes? In fact, yeah, I do. I think that is actually a really good idea. I've actually always thought that cartographers should have more maps for more structures. I think it's a great idea. However, what did make me think is what old guy said about the maps themselves on Bedrock Edition. Now, I don't know if this is confirmed, as old guy also said, but if they do add more data every time a player makes a map, that is going to be almost disastrous for Bedrock Worlds. You can almost bet that every single person is going to start using cartographers a lot more, and that actually could result in world size getting bigger because they have opened so many maps. Again, remember, that is not confirmed, but that is a slight possibility of what could happen in the future. However, if that doesn't happen, I really do think that is a good change, and I'm happy with that change. Now let's talk about traveling to different biomes to get different trades. Do I like the idea of that? No, not at all. Do I think I'll ever do it? There is no chance that I will ever be going to different biomes to get any different trades. And that is not just because I've got every trade in the game already. It just doesn't appeal to me doing that. I really have no time to be traveling thousands of blocks, a bit like Prow said, just to get some mediocre trades. It is not worth it. It will never ever be worth it. We all know how much of a pain villagers are to actually work with anyway. And if you've not had practice with them, they're even more of a pain. So if you think I'm going to be traveling around to each biome to get each different trade, nah, you got to be joking. I am not going to be doing that whatsoever. I think the biggest issue with me about traveling and exploring is something that I've been saying to every person who I speak to, all of my subscribers. anyone who wants to play on the same world for years and years and years, this is actually a big problem. Traveling around your world makes it so big. Now, I'm pretty sure there is some kind of bug in the game that makes the chunk save weird, and it just saves the chunk that you're not in or something. I can't remember exactly what the bug is, but basically, if you go traveling in a bedrock world, you can almost bet that your world is going to start getting huge. I know people who have played on Minecraft for so long and they have kept their world size so small because they haven't done any exploration. Now let me show you my world and the size of my world just for a little example. I'm just going to use my Simply Survival realm because you can actually see all the information on the Simply Survival realm. So we're going to go on this one. Let's activate this right now and let's edit the world, alright? And we're going to go into backups, and you can see here, this is my last backup on this world, alright? You can see right here, my world is 1500 megabytes. That's 1.5 gigabytes, okay? That is, yeah, over a gig for my Minecraft world. I have had mine for 4 years, and I have tried to keep exploration to a bare minimum. That means if I need to locate something, I would get a copy of my world, I would pinpoint the location, and find the shortest route to travel to that destination, alright? I have tried so hard not to do traveling in my world because of this. Now, my world used to be 600 megabytes, which is half of this, right? About half of this anyway. It's just under half of it, alright? So 600 megabytes, right? That's how big my world used to be. Now, when the Caves and Cliffs update came, we also got a brand new disc, the Other Side disc, alright? I went out searching for that. I never normally do traveling or exploring, but I knew that I was going to have to do a little bit of traveling and exploring to find this. My world quite literally doubled in size from that one exploration mission. Literally. Yes, I did get the disc in the end, but was it worth doubling the size of my world? Honestly, I do not know. Of course, since then, we have gone up a little bit as well, but the point is that I'm trying to say is these go up with just a little bit of traveling, alright? You can travel, I don't know, 10,000 blocks, and it will add a significant amount to your memory of your world. Now, another huge issue with this is if you're playing on mobile devices and iPads or something like that, alright? For in the past, I've actually had it where I'm unable to download my world on iPad because it was too big. Now, for some reason, I can actually download my world, which is a bonus. However, there are going to be many devices out there, maybe mobile devices specifically, that are not even going to be able to download their worlds, okay? They're not even going to be able to copy their worlds if they play on Realms. This is crazy right now, alright? Overall, I think the initial villager changes are actually alright. I don't like the fact that we're going to have to be traveling. As I said, I won't be doing that if that does get implemented into the main game and not just in the experimental features. And I don't really like the fact they're taking really good trades away from the villagers. But as I said, villagers were really OP, and soon enough they was going to kind of nerf them anyway. So I don't really mind not being able to get the trades from villagers specifically, but what I do mind is not being able to get them easily from anywhere else. There needs to be different options for different people, a bit like Prow was saying. Now, what do I think about losing all of my villager discounts? I'm kind of on the edge. I mean, I don't mind as a whole. As I said, there's probably going to be new ways in the future to get all this stuff, and I'm really not that fussed. However, I mean, I don't know. I say I'm not that fussed, but it's kind of disheartening to put in a lot of work to your game, and for certain farms, I spent quite a lot of time on that farm getting those discounts. Even though it is the easiest way to get discounts, I have still spent a lot of time standing around that farm waiting for zombie villagers to spawn, right? And for them just to be completely removed just like that, I mean, damn, that is a little bit disheartening, right? But I don't know, maybe it's the right thing to do. I am honestly undecided about this. Yeah, it's a bit disheartening. I think the initial nerfs should have been put in place, but I don't think they should have took away people's discounts that had already been implemented on villagers. And there we go, that pretty much wraps it up. I do hope you have enjoyed seeing different people's opinions on this matter. I would love to hear your guys' opinion in the comments below. So if you do have an opinion or something that you think that I've missed out on this video, feel free to let me know in the comments below, and yeah, I would love to read them. So that is all I've got time for. I will catch you on the next one.